welcome back to Old School. I wasn't necessarily going to post a video this week. I was thinking of slipping into an every other week situation since my vacation, but I was in the middle of doing some things for decorating for Christmas, and something interesting happened. When I was a child, there were certain things that remind me of that trauma. They don't re-traumatize me or anything. I guess they're the symbols of trauma, and they're different for everyone who's ever had any kind of trauma. But I had a tablecloth that I have a gigantic dining table. People call it the Lord's Supper table. And the tablecloth was just insanely wrinkled. And so I'm trying to navigate it from the table over to the ironing board and ironing. And I hate ironing. That's what the professionals are for, dry cleaners or anybody else. Because when I was little, very little, like 4 and 5, I was stood on a milk crate and I was to iron things. And I know that sounds like, ooh, boo-hoo, poor Michele. But the fact of the matter is it was very specific. And my father would either stand behind me or near me to, employ discipline when I wasn't doing it correctly. And the things I had to iron were odd to me. I mean, I was only 5, but having to iron bed sheets, and I know some people probably do that and think, oh, that's all normal. Having to iron everybody's pajamas, my father's boxers. I mean, it was just bizarre for me because I don't even know that I need most of that iron now. You fold it when it comes out, and not everything's all cotton, but it just was what it was. It was one of a line of things. I was beaten pretty badly, so were my siblings and my mom by my dad. And so those things that, come from my childhood, we can't, erase them from our memories without erasing all the good stuff too. And we just flat out can't erase anything. It would be great if we could selectively remove some stuff, but all of it created our character, created us who we are now. And my King Jesus walked me through all of that. I mean, even at a young age, I can remember thinking that my father's stuff was, his stuff. It was his evil. I didn't do anything to deserve it or instigate it. And I didn't blame God or, anybody else but him. And the same with the line of individuals who committed other, atrocities towards me. But it was just interesting. I pulled this iron out, I, filled it with the water and plug it in, and as it's steaming and I'm trying, and I find myself, even moving my hands and manipulating it. And I mean, I guess that's the muscle memory of ironing and what have you, but it's just, it was just bizarre. I had it as a defense mechanism as a kid, laughter. I'm sure you've probably noticed that through these videos, that I'm a smart aleck and I deploy laughter for, sometimes when I'm nervous or awkward, when I'm in pain. And I find some of it comical. And so it doesn't bring up a re-traumatization for me, but it just made me stop and think today in the emotional quadrant about the things that do that for us, or that might do that to you or anyone. I had one of my other chores was setting the table for breakfast. I'm mature, and back then, we sat down as a family and had breakfast. There was, a plate, knife, fork, spoon. I mean, it was set. It was set like if you were going out to a restaurant. There was a bowl that had half a grapefruit in it every morning. My father needed that. Everybody needed that. And then there were these little bowls that are like little olive oil balsamic vinegar bowls, that, just little condiment bowls that I had to count and put vitamins in for he and my mom. And it's just so bizarre what you remember. But I had to get it right. If I didn't get it right, there were physical consequences for, not getting it right. And I laugh about that now. My life skills students, when I taught them how to set tables and stuff, didn't know all of that was like a memory for me, but I probably thought at the time I was Mrs. Hernandez's nuts. Because I'm so specific, and you want to get it right. I didn't beat any of them for not getting it right. But it's just bizarre, those little things. I have similar symbols from my marriage that were, traumatizing, from some other, the person who sexually abused me, just very specific things. There were certain cartoons on in the background, and there was certain, candies offered for, compliance and silence. And so it's just interesting. This is not a pity situation, or I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me or whatever, but it is in my book, and it is about how we walk out of and through those emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual things, that we need to grow into the character of God for. And so it just kind of set something off. I was sitting here answering a text on the phone, and I looked over, and just the video that Peanut, my little editor, is going to cut in here, is the picture you'll see of my iron and my ironing board and the tablecloth, and it just sent a memory, and not necessarily one that was going to put me into tears. It was just making me reflective. And I guess calling them the symbols of trauma is a good, way to use it. Not making it any more, not letting it have any ownership on me, not causing re-traumatization, but just, as a symbol also of where I've come out of. And there are people who look at me and know my story and think, good Lord, it's amazing you're not more whacked than you are. That's a story for another day. But anyway, I decided to sit down, go ahead and make a post. Just, if you think of those things like in your life and in your past, in your history, and if they develop any kind of ownership over you, I just want to encourage you, if you want to reach out in the messages, that there is a way to walk out of that and not let it own you, not let it own your future. It has a presence. It's a part of what created the you that's you, but it doesn't have to have a grip on you, a death grip on you. And it doesn't have to make you be defined by those. I am not defined by the things that happened to me. I was a victim of certain things, but I am not a victim in life. I'm a victor, and I'm a daughter of the King, and you can be that too. If you're a gentleman, you can be a prince. But it's what I'm saying is just, we can't let these things become chains and become, an albatross around our neck weighing us down, or luggage that we're hauling around with us. They're symbol. When they come up, or when you see them somewhere, for you to be able to say, yes, I'm victorious, and I'm out of that, and it no longer has ownership over me. And that's what King Jesus came to do, was set the captives free. So it just was interesting that this cropped up today while I'm preparing my house for my company Christmas party and decorating for Christmas, why King Jesus came to earth. So I just thought I'd share that with you. I hope it's an encouragement. And if you'd like to talk with someone, talk with me in particular about how that process worked for me, I would love that. I would love that. And I do believe that's why I've been called to write the book, so that that very thing can get put out there for anyone to read and see, that, the current processes that are being offered by the world that don't work and just cause us to be bitter and victimy, don't have to be the only solution. In fact, they shouldn't be anywhere in the equation. So thank you for coming to Old School, and coming to class today, Being Human 127. And if you like what you're seeing and what's going on here, and you want to see more, or you'd like any information, or like to contact me, leave a message, click subscribe, and like. I love all of it. I'm trying to make sure I respond to all the comments, and I really appreciate all your subscriptions. I'm only a few away from being able to get my custom URL, so if you know anybody you think might benefit from it too, just tell them to come on over and click that little subscribe button. And so, as long as this is the Christmas decorating emotional edition, I hope you have Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it might be that you celebrate, and that you can find that place. And if you need some help, little nudge down the right path for getting rid of those things that are weighing you down from being victorious, I'd be thrilled to be any part of your journey. So, Merry Christmas, and thank you for coming to class, and class dismissed.